It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Hey, Marky, how are you?
I'm delighted to meet a coach with 700 victories. You're going to go right after Bobby Knight and all those guys?
Coach K? Take it day to day. That's a long way away.
Yeah, right here. But no, let's see, you got a pretty big game, I guess, tomorrow against ETSU. Which has become, I guess, both these schools are something of the surprise teams of the conference this year. And so, yeah, I want to ask you, but I thought, thanks for joining us here. I really appreciate it. I wish I had a little more time, but we'll be going from, it looks like, 12:20 to 12:28, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, but here we go. Western Carolina basketball. Let me get your stats up here, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, tough loss to Wofford coming out yesterday, 84-69. Now, you were at home, so I guess you're 9-3 at home this year. Okay.
With a sports flash on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities, I'm Matt Pauley.
All right, we're going to come on right now. Larry Hunter is the head men's basketball coach of possibly the surprising team in the Southern Conference, for my money. Most people thought the Catamounts of Western Carolina would be bottom of the Southern Conference standings. Instead, they're in the middle, and despite losing by 15 last night to Wofford, the Catamounts find themselves 9-3 at home this year as they prepare to face East Tennessee State tomorrow. Larry Hunter, it's a pleasure to talk to you here, and I guess I want to just ask, first of all, I realize 12-15 is still a losing record, and I'm sure that you're not happy with that no matter where the media or the coaches picked you, but this is better than expected. So what has been the cause for, let's say, the team doing a little bit better than expected this year?
Well, we had a number of injuries a year ago, and we just were not a very good basketball team. We didn't have a lot of depth. And we've added what we think are three really good, solid freshmen. All of them have started at different times, and a couple of them have started very consistently throughout the year. And then we added a junior college postman, Mike Amius, to that mix, and he's really given us an inside presence, which we didn't have a year ago. And then some of those guys that were injured are back, so our depth is a lot better. Our leadership has gotten better. We have a very difficult non-conference schedule, so I think a lot of our weaknesses were identified early, and guys have been very good about focusing on trying to get better in some of those areas. So, what we've done so far, we've been able to beat several of the teams below us in the standings, and now we're at a point in our schedule where we played, we just got done playing Greensboro last Saturday, and we played Wofford last night. We play, of course, East Tennessee State tomorrow, and then we have Furman right after that. So we play, the four teams that are above us in the standings, and we've not been able to beat, any of those four teams at this point. So for us heading into the postseason tournament, we've just got to figure out a way to maybe gain some confidence and find a way to beat some of those teams. But all four of those teams are terrific basketball teams and very well coached.
Yeah, it's not a very easy stretch of schedule for you here, Larry Hunter, coach of Western Carolina, but you did bring in, you spoke of freshmen, and one of those freshmen is Matt Halverson, who, of course, hails from Kingsport, although he did go to Christ School and not, say, Dobbins-Bennett or Sullivan South. When were you first notified, let's see, or when did you first hear of Matt Halverson, and how did you make him a Catamount?
Well, I saw Matt play in the AAU in the spring and then in the summer of his sophomore year at high school when I believe he was still at Kingsport at that time. And then I saw him again after his junior year, heading into his senior year, and he had continued to get better. And I just liked, his savvy for the game, his obviously his ability to shoot the basketball, his ball skills. He's not real big, but he's a good basketball player. And then, he led Christ School, I think, in scoring 2 years in a row, and that's pretty good competition. So, we decided that we were going to recruiting and really liked the family. It's a great family. And the thing about Matty, he's got a lot of winning characteristics. He's one of the first ones to the gym every day. He comes in extra. He's always one of the last ones to leave, so he's got those kind of characteristics. His dad was a former baseball coach at North Carolina, very successful businessman now. He came out of a great high school program, at Kingsport, where he got a great fundamental base growing up, and then he was in a very competitive program at the Christ School. So he's been well prepared, and that's shown up as he's moved on into our program here this past season.
Well, Larry Hunter, I did want to ask, what makes ETSU so good? When you scout them, what are your biggest fears in this game?
Well, you know what, they have a couple premier players in the league. They're guards, and you think of DeSante Bradford and Jalen McLeod, which are two outstanding players. But then they have a core of about 5 or 6 perimeter guys that are they're very capable of hurting you. They're very athletic, and then they have Peter Jerkin and Maiden Armas in the post, both really good big men. And I haven't even mentioned David Durrell at the 4 spot, and Jeremy Long. Some of those guys. They've got a Coach Forbes and his staff have done a great job of recruiting. But it's beyond that. They do a great job of coaching. Those guys play their roles very well. They play with a lot of energy and toughness and confidence. But they got a lot of pieces of the puzzle to be a very good team. That's why they're having the kind of year that they're having. They're a very difficult team to try and defend, number one, and then they just defend the crap out of you themselves. Coach Forbes has them playing hard. I think they're leading the league in opponents. In defensive average, defensive scoring, and maybe even defensive field goal percentage. And so they play both ends of the court extremely well, and that's what makes them a really, really tough out for people.
They are, just as you say, leading in many defensive categories and such. The last question I wanted to ask you, Western Carolina, you're out there. You've been the coach there since 2005. It is in the middle of nowhere, I joke. It's 47 miles from even Asheville, and really isolated. But you've been the coach at Ohio and at NC State. What kind of a challenge is it to bring in basketball players way out into the country at Western Carolina?
What would surprise you, Marky, is that if we get families and young men to campus, we've had a very high percentage of being able to get those people to commit. But you got to find the right kind of a young man that's going to be comfortable in this setting for sure. But Western Carolina University is a hidden gem. We're over 11,000 students now. It's a residential campus. It's a beautiful campus, nestled right in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a tourist area, and there's more here than you might think. We're not in a Johnson City, Bristol, Tennessee type of city environment for sure, but for the right kind of kids that want to come to college and be in a good, solid basketball program and get a good education and get better, if that's their passion, is basketball and getting their degree, then we might be a good fit for them. So,
he's Larry Hunter. He is longtime coach at Western Carolina. Quite a challenge, but he's defying the odds in a lot of people's minds this year with a 9-3 home record. Thanks for joining us, Tri-City Sports Now.
Thanks, Marky.
Oh, it's my pleasure.